What's up, everybody? For those of you who don't know, my name is Kim. I do Reiki and readings and all this energy work, fun stuff. And what I like to do is come on and do videos that have to do with the healing path to help, maybe motivate, support people, to give perspective on a lot of different things. So today, the topic that I wanted to share with you guys is for those of you who have decided that you wanted to change and shift your life, and you're like, you know what, I'm not happy here anymore. There's changes I want to make. So, bring on the changes. So the issue with this is sometimes when we decide to change our lives, we have to deal with past stuff that is getting in the way of us moving forward. Because a lot of times, when we're younger, if we've had traumas and a lot of belief systems we were taught and were embedded in us show up in adulthood. And when you're unaware of it, you probably, carry on these patterns and you probably have these certain ways of thinking and everything. But then when you awaken and become aware of things that are holding you back, sometimes these patterns get exposed to you and then you're forced to deal with them. So the issues when you're trying to heal your life, you make yourself aware of things that are getting in your way. Once you acknowledge the things that are getting in your way, it then becomes your responsibility to heal it. Now, nobody likes to do this. I don't like to do it. I don't like to acknowledge my problems, but it happens on the path, and then you have a choice whether or not to heal it and move forward. Now, why in God's name would I choose to go on a path that's only going to bring up crap from my past that I'm going to have to work hard to deal with? This is really difficult because when you've chosen to shift your life and to be the best version of yourself, kind of live the life that you're meant to live, the life that maybe you'll find more happiness and peace with, a lot of us do not see the outcome. We can't put our minds to how we're going to feel once we release this, once we clear this and deal with this. Sometimes we just get wrapped up in the pain in the present and dealing with the crap that we're dealing with now, and we don't see the outcome. But like I said, once you become aware of things that are holding you back, it is then your responsibility to either work on it or not. No matter who hurt you, no matter what happened from your past, it is your responsibility to figure out how you want it fixed. And that's also how you gain your power back to where it was lost, where other people, took it from you and stuff like that. Again, once you acknowledge it, it is your responsibility. You have the choice to deal with it or not deal with it and to find the resources to help you along that path. Now, one of the things that comes up with our past and dealing with things that, or I should say healing from maybe people that have hurt us or anything, is forgiveness. A lot of people have issues with forgiving. It takes a while. Sometimes it's a process. But the problem is when we are not in a state of forgiveness, when we don't attempt to try and forgive people that have hurt us, we build up other emotions that get in our way of moving forward, that interfere with our energetic balance. So then we develop fear, we develop blame, guilt, sadness, hurt. All of these things get in the way of us moving forward and being at peace. We allow things from our past to affect the present. And the problem with that is the past is the past. The power is in the present moment. You have an option every day, every opportunity to make a choice in every moment on how you're going to respond to something that's happening to you. You can't change the past. You can only work with the present and hope for the best for the future. So if you find yourself encountering a lot of issues from your past that are affecting you, or things are coming up, you're starting to notice patterns of behavior that you want healed, find out where this is coming from, and then you need to forgive either yourself or someone else to move forward. That will just energetically release so much, stuff that you're holding on to. Because like I said, a lot of people have issues forgiving, and it's, I can't forgive this person, they hurt me. But sometimes we're only punishing ourselves by remaining in the state of sadness and hurt from this person. Now, again, it takes time to deal with these emotions. Sometimes you just have to set the intention and, start to work on it. And it takes a while. Sometimes it can be overnight as well. So it all depends on the person and, what's going on. But again, when you're going through this awakening path and trying to fix your life, basically what is happening is you are rewiring your brain to think a different way, to respond a different way. So let's say you're, 45 years old and you've responded a certain way to certain situations and certain people. You've had this certain lifestyle for a very long time. You have to undo all of that to live the life that you want to find more peace if you find that things are getting in your way and you're not happy. And that is so difficult to do, to change our thought patterns. But it is crucial when moving forward, is to become aware of the thoughts that are coming in and out of our heads each day, because they affect the choices that we make. They affect those around us. They affect our energy. They affect our jobs, everything. Like, our thoughts have more power than a lot of people are aware of. So again, when you're going down this path and things are coming up and you're becoming aware, you have to start shifting your brain and catching yourself in these moments where, you know, maybe you're just saying things to yourself that aren't beneficial for moving forward. It's not practicing self-love. You're kind of criticizing yourself too much. Maybe you're criticizing others. Maybe you're placing blame on too many people. Maybe, you know, like I said, you're just talking yourself out of things and the ego kind of gets in the way. So, along this path, when it comes to dealing with things that are coming up, we are forced to rewire our brain, and that's just what happens. And the best thing you can do while this is happening is to try and find space and time for yourself to meditate, or some quiet time to get to know yourself on an energetic level. Pay attention to the thoughts that are coming in and out of your head every day. Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they, you know, helpful in any way, shape, or form with your, you know, day-to-day life? Are they setting good intentions for your future, or are they actually kind of getting in the way? Are you waking up every day like, today's gonna suck? Are you already setting that intention for the day? You know, pay attention. This is how you learn to change little thoughts. And again, it takes time. I myself still get caught in like moments where I start to go down this like negative thought pattern. I'm like, oh, you'll never be able to. And then when you're more aware, you can catch yourself faster, and then you can shift that real quick and be like, hold up, like, shut up. Let me like think about this for a minute and try and switch it to a positive thought. You know, I tell myself to shut up a lot. So that's part of the awakening path too, is, you know, again, when our past comes and gets in the way and we start to realize certain thought patterns that we have to shift and change a lot of these thoughts. So we start training our brains to think a different way. And it does take time. It takes daily practice, you know. Our thoughts and our outside world are very connected. Our energy and, you know, what we see around us and what we surround ourselves is very connected. And you'll realize the more you shift your thought patterns. Now, I've been doing a lot of like self-work, I would say, for the past like 4 years or so, where it's taken me some time to rewire a lot of my thoughts and my perspectives on life. And I will say, from a personal experience, once I started to shift a lot of my thoughts, I noticed outside things reflecting back at me in a different way. The less, you know, negative thought patterns I had, the more positive experiences I was having. So, you know, I've kind of lived a lot of this, like, where I just noticed a difference. Once I started to change my own energy and my own perspective on a lot of things, I noticed that the outside world started to reflect that. And I started to feel more at peace and more like I could handle a lot more issues. It's a daily practice, you know, we got to practice self-care every day. Again, paying attention to the thoughts that come in your mind. When you find yourself getting drained, fixing that, either through, you know, being outside or baths or anything. You know, you got to take really good care of yourself. You know, you deserve it. Your body deserves it. Your mind deserves it. You know, a lot of people are like, I just don't have time. Like, it's priority in life to kind of, you know, make sure you're taking care of yourself on that level. And the more you have to offer, you know, if you do take better care of yourself too. Making choices that can only benefit too. Being very aware of when you're being challenged. So let's say an issue comes up from the past and you have to deal with this. You have a choice to respond every time. Once you're aware of the issue, of course, you have a choice to respond in a different way that can only help or hurt. So if you're struggling with a moment, you have a choice to deal with it from a more healthy perspective, you know, whatever resonates with you on that, or a less healthy. And I think, you know, if you know yourself well enough, you know the difference, what works for you, what doesn't. Sometimes when we're stressed out, we make a choice that isn't for our best good and actually causes more problems than had we paused and maybe thought of a different way to heal it or to deal with it or to handle it. You know, it could be as simple as, you know, taking a deep breath before speaking back to someone, you know, that really gets to you. It could be something as simple as that, you know. So in every issue that we have come up, we have a choice in that moment to do something that can either help or lessen the pain, or it can actually cause you more problems. So it's really important to be aware and evaluate where you want to spend your energy, because if you make a choice that isn't really beneficial for you, you're going to have to pay for that as well. And that's just compounded issues and more energy that's not as helpful for you that you're accumulating. And then one thing also that I really want to state too is when I find myself in moments where I get really frustrated at where I'm at and I'm like, I just really want to move forward with this. I'd really like to see this. I forget that I also actually really need to be thankful. And I think that everybody should practice gratitude every single day. There is always something to be thankful for. This is very important. And I found that the more gratitude you express, it also rewires your brain to think more like, positively and everything like this. But it also just helps you it gives you perspective on your problems versus what you have. So, and I think there's been like posts and stuff that will be like, it said something like, if you have a ton of laundry, don't complain about it because at least you have clothes, like that kind of thing. There's always something to be thankful for. I'm thankful that despite, let's say my life is falling apart, or like I can still breathe, like I still have a functioning body, or whatever you want to be grateful for every day. It's really important when you find yourself getting lost in the what's wrong with your life to also appreciate what's right and be grateful for what you do have. I found there's a lot of power in that. And the unfortunate part too is when we're learning how to heal our lives, a lot of times the universe, well, we all know we heal in layers. So, you think you dealt with an issue, it tends to creep back up in a different form, slightly disguised, maybe less intense. But every time, we're being challenged, the universe has a way of presenting us with things that need to be healed. And when we don't heal them, we get hit again and again and again. Once you become aware and you have the opportunity to heal it and you want to correct it, and you try to work on it, you'll notice that when it gets presented to you another time, you may react less intensely. And this is how you know you're healing, is when you start to respond differently, when you pause, when you realize certain situations that would make you go absolutely insane, you suddenly are a little less insane when responding to them. That's all part of the healing process as well. So when you're having issues and things going on, one thing that's also helpful is and of course, like the way I deal with issues is not always, for everybody. Everybody heals differently in different ways. So a lot of times I speak from personal experience on like how I've learned to deal with a lot of things. But when I noticed that once I became very aware of my energy and, how I react and how I am like at baseline, when I'm getting hit with an issue that's affecting me on some level, one of my first questions is, what is the lesson here? I want to learn this lesson as fast as I can so I can get through it and move on so I don't have to deal with it anymore. That's my thought. And a lot of times we have a lot of common themes that we all get hit with, whether it's forgiveness or self-worth or value. A lot of times people don't realize, like, even though we're all very unique, a lot of us struggle with the same types of themes in our life that need to be healed. So when you find yourself struggling with something, whether it's relationship or finances or career or health, anything, ask yourself, what is the lesson here? What is being shown to me that needs to be healed? And, try to find the resources to help that. And for those of you who are, really trying and struggling very much so, I think the fact that you've chosen to become aware of any issues that are holding you back from, being truly happy, I applaud you for that, because a lot of people don't want to face, when you want to heal your life, again, you have to deal with all the muck in order to move forward, and you have to analyze your life and kind of look at things that you thought were gone and you don't want to deal with anymore, things that you just don't want to emotionally handle anymore. So I give you guys a lot of credit if you are working on healing your life and you're just like, oh my God, would this nonsense just end? Please, like, if you are working on this and it's going to ultimately bring you peace, keep pushing forward. Like I said, I applaud people who go into the dirt to fix a lot of their lives. And like I said, the faster you say, what is the lesson here so I can learn it, the faster it, you can heal from it. And then if it comes back a second time around, or a third or fourth, it just may not be as intense. And that's all part of the process as well. We get challenged. Did you really learn the first time, or do we have to show you again? It's a fun time, really. But, like I said, once you get through a lot of the painful aspects, on the other side, which a lot of times, again, we're not privileged to see or feel, we're so stuck in our, like, oh my God, this is terrible, that we don't see how happy we could be after, or at peace, or how much more control we have over ourselves or our lives in those moments. And just keep that in mind when you're struggling and when you're like, I can't deal. Just think about, you may just not see the positive outcome. So that was my speech today on how our past kind of affects us, and, you know, a little bit along the path and dealing with it. Like I said, you know, if anybody needs any help, I do Reiki to kind of assist with a lot of this and help work through some issues. If you're interested, please feel free to message me with any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer. And I hope you all have a lovely day. And I also finally started my own YouTube channel. It's Intuitive Kim, so please feel free to subscribe. There's not much up there right now since I just started it. It takes like 8 years for me to load videos, so I get really frustrated on that. But please feel free to subscribe and, you know, share it with your friends and all that stuff. Hope you all have a lovely day. It's starting to rain out here, so I'm gonna go now. Bye.